Shalom, brothers and sisters. Once again, it's the voice of Brother Tazadawak coming at you through the spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shah. For the record, I would like to reserve my rights according to the Bill of Rights and the Constitution of the Federal Republic. This is not legal advice. I do not offer legal advice. This is for educational, informational, entertainment purposes only. And most importantly, spiritual awareness and mental. If you decide to use any of this information, be certain that you research everything. Research everything. Take nothing for face value. Believe no one and allow no one to mentally manipulate your thinking. I'd like to talk to you today about the principles of mental programming and how it affects you in this corporation that you think is a country. It's no longer a country. The United States is a corporation. To those of you that do not believe that, eventually you'll come to those terms and accept it. The United States is a corporation. In the book 1984, George Orwell warns the people that the people are actually in danger of losing their human qualities and freedom. That's already come to pass. You are now corporate fiction. You are now strongman. You are now a fictitious entity. Since shortly after birth, when your mother informed on you, you became a corporation without even being aware. Your mother signed you over to the state without being aware. So let me talk to you today, brothers and sisters. So you're not aware of the psychological engineering that actually takes place on you daily through the TV, through the internet, through the billboard signs, and so on and so forth. You've learned to accept the Soviet Union and the Republic of China use of mind control on its citizens, but you think the United States, this a beautiful country? Oh, you gotta be crazy, Tazadawak. I've had a few people attack me saying, oh, you're crazy, this government's beautiful, and so on and so forth. Deceive. Deceive. The most effective way to protect yourself against subconscious manipulation is actually to be aware of how it works. There's certain techniques that they use to actually enslave the mind, which are the same techniques used to free the mind. Now, what are the principles of mental programming? What have they done to you? The most effective way to conquer a man or woman is to conquer their mind. Control one's mind and his body. You control that as well. Most people do not actually pay conscious attention to the things that happen to them subconsciously, or the things that affect them subconsciously. They don't usually know what to look for. But when someone points it out to you, things can be recognized and understood if you are paying attention. Now, the principles, brothers and sisters, of mind control is hypnotic, suggestion, and mental programming. These are ancient principles. The term that you use don't matter. It all actually ends up to the same thing. The goal is to actually suspend the thought process of the conscious mind, of that conscious mind state. And it leaves you in a state just like daydreaming. Stop the conscious thought, stop the conscious mind, and when you stop the conscious mind, when you stop the conscious thought, the mind is now in its most suggestible state. and is more actually receptive to programming than any other time. Therefore, the first principle of mind control is distraction. They distract you. They distract you with sport and play all of the time. Every time they want to pull off something big, they use a major sporting event to distract you. You're not aware. Oh, who's going to win? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? You're distracted. Something else is going on. Meanwhile, in government, the politicians are pulling something else off right under your face, hidden in plain sight, but you're concentrating on a sporting event or something else. So, therefore, the first principle of mind control is distraction. Distraction actually focuses the attention of the conscious mind on one or more of the five senses: sight, sound, touch, smell, or taste. And why do they do that? In order to program the subconscious mind. Now, all men don't have the same thoughts. We don't all think the same thoughts, but all men think with the same mechanism of the brain. One part of the brain that works things out one step at a time, just like a computer. Now, this is a language using the left side of the brain, which is also identified as the conscious mind. The two, brothers and sisters, of the conscious minds are words, whether spoken, written, thought, or what have you, and pictures and sounds. The conscious mind actually discriminates and evaluates, accepts, or rejects. Do you follow what I'm saying thus far? So sometimes the more you think about a problem, the further you actually get away from finding the solution to the problem, the more you think about that particular problem. When this happens, you actually make a decision based on how you feel. Now you're dealing with emotions. I didn't arrive at my understanding of the fundamentals of laws of the universe through my rational mind state. So saith Albert Einstein. Now, the powers, brothers and sisters, of intuition are the powers of the subconscious mind, the right side of the brain, the center of intuitions and creativity, emotions. And that word emotions is very powerful. Well, let me give you an example. The force. Now, the force is energy field created in all living things. You trust your feelings, not the computer. The force in, say, the movie Star Wars is Hollywood's version or Hollywood's vision of an ancient principle. Think of your subconscious mind, brothers and sisters, as the force, and also think of the subconscious mind as your own personal energy source. Now imagine your conscious starts directing of your conscious mind to the subconscious. What the conscious mind believes or acts on, it works just like programming a computer. It works like programming a computer. You feed information into the computer, and the computer acts on it. However, if the information you feed into the computer is wrong, it will still act on it. If you give yourself incorrect information, or if others give you incorrect information into your memory bank of your subconscious mind, and do not correct it, the error, but it would act on it. So when you stop consciously thinking and you make your mind go blank, then your mind is in its most suggestive state. And that's what they're doing to the people. That's what's been done to the people. That's why many of you don't understand what's going on in these tribune courts. You go in as a straw man, you stand in place of the straw man because you're not consciously aware of what's going on. And many of you have been telling me, oh, Tazadawak, you going off. You're not teaching scriptures anymore. You're not teaching truth because you don't know what's going on. Brothers and sisters, you're mentally manipulated. You can't see. I see higher than you. I hate to talk to you this way, but I see further than you. I have more understandings on different topics than you. Now, don't get emotional with me, but I'm operating on a different realm. So when you stop thinking consciously, you're in your most suggestive state. You're in your most suggestive state. When you stop thinking consciously, your mind goes blank. Then your mind is in its most suggestive state, brothers and sisters. It's in the state of the mind where you are receptive to mental programming. So you've been mentally programmed to think, well, this way is right. So you go in. So many people has gone into these tribune courts. And let me give you an example. You walk into the court. The judge asks you, and because so many has done this, you think this is the way that it's supposed to happen. Is your name so-and-so? Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? And then you follow routine. Why? Because you think that's the right way, because you think, because you've been reared that way. You go to school and you follow, I should say go to school, and you follow these same principles because everyone else does it. So you think that it's the right way. Why? Because you've been reared that way. That's what's actually been supplanted into your mind. But every now and again, the Most High raise up someone like me that's contrary to popular opinion, that's contrary to popular belief, that has the ability to have insight, to see into a thing, to transcend above those boundaries that they have constructed for us to keep us on as a base men and women on a degenerate level, operating like beasts in human form. So the state of mind is just like daydreaming when they get you in that. Now remember, the first principles of mental programming is the principle of distraction. Distraction focuses the attention of the conscious mind on one of the five senses. Remember I said that, to distract you in order to program you. In order to program you and then embed things into your mind. 2,000 years ago, Plato demanded strict censorship over the popular music in his European Republic. Now, I'm gonna talk more about this. I'm gonna have to put this into another video, because I'm running out of time here. I'm up to 13 minutes. But watching television often creates actually an altered state of consciousness, because a television screen, while appearing to be static, is digital. They digitalize it now. Actually flickers, and it causes you to go into an altered state of mind. Hypnosis. You're in a hypnosis. And it's actually the body relaxation and careful pattern of these voice, like these newscasters. They talking like somewhat like a monotone to put you in a certain state. So the hypnosis speak with a regular beat. And then matching his words into like a monotone. In fact, any repeating light or sound pattern can lead into a hypnotic state. That's why you see the flashing billboard signs, flashing, to get your attention. You're at the movie theater, they want you to buy some popcorn. They flashed it on the screen a few times. Suddenly, you have a desire for popcorn, and you may not even have had that desire before. So when you stop conscious thinking and your mind goes blank, your mind is in its most suggestive state. It is the state of mind where you're most receptive to mental programs.